Do you know why I'm doing that? Do you know why I'm
I think
making
you're
that
going to tell
obnoxious
us why.
voice? Our boy Christian Pulisic is
Do you
going to
have
be on
60 reasons?
60 minutes this Sunday. Not 60 minutes sports. Regular old man 60 minutes is doing a feature piece on Pulisic this Sunday. So that's going to be fun. Those are always really good and really well done. So
Now I'll have an excuse when my girlfriend tells me that I'm old for watching that on CBS Sunday morning.
okay, CBS Sunday Morning, you really are old if you watch. It's good, but that's old, really old, man. 60 minutes is like
When I'm not watching soccer, this is what I watch at like 7:30 a.m. on. No, they start at 8 to 9:30, 8 a.m. On a Sunday morning.
60 minutes is some quality ass journalism. So I'm excited. That's going to be fun. We haven't seen a big sort of feature piece on him since the one that Raj Bennett did for, I think, Vice. Was it for Vice? They put it online, which was like 15 minutes long. It was really good. He kind of followed him around Dortmund, but that was beginning of last season. So
Yeah,
that's, we've come a long way since then. So this should be fun. I'm excited. We should tell you that this is US Fan TV and I am Pat and he is Chris.
that means that I am Chris.
That,
Hello,
that's what it means.
welcome, welcome.
Uh, we are going to tell you who we think is going to make the U.S. roster for the Panama and Trinidad and Tobago upcoming qualifiers. This shouldn't. There's not going to be any surprises, I don't think, right? I mean, not to sell out the show and tell you to turn it off now, but we could all pretty much piece this together. At least,
If you can't name the 23 already, I don't think you've been watching the
yeah.
U.S. national team.
We have some guys who are healthy who were not healthy, right?
I mean that's the big thing.
Yeah.
If I look at it, yeah, the big change is really just a matter of health.
We should also tell
And
you,
it's
though,
really just one.
more important than the rosters, more important than really anything, we have shirts.
Woo, woo.
You can buy a US Fan TV t-shirt right now and help support our
Make
fine
US
show.
Fan TV your own.
But you can only do so until the 11th of October. So that's when you got a pre-order on Bonfire. There's a link on our Twitter and on our Facebook and on the most recent thing I put on our website, usfantv.com. You go to the site, you can pick out whatever color you want the shirt to be in. You can pre-order it. They'll send it, assuming we sell enough of them, which I would hope you guys would come through for us. Chris and I have already pre-ordered, so if we get enough of them sold, you will get yours by the end of October. If we don't, you will not be charged anything. So it should be awesome. Alex says he's buying a shirt. Alex,
boy, Alex,
you're the only one of us, one of the viewers we've actually met in person.
Yeah,
that's way to come through big time for us, buddy. So yeah, if you want to buy a shirt, you can go to the Twitter or the Facebook and look at the pinned thing that we put at the top, and there's a link, and you can do it there. And it's a good company that helps organize everything and ship it so that we don't screw it all up. And it should be cool. So thanks in advance if you do that. And hopefully soon we'll be all rocking those shirts and we'll be awesome. Should we talk about? Oh, you know what else is going on tonight? FIFA's out, and I'm kind of pissed because our boy Pulisic, who we mentioned earlier is going to be on 60 Minutes, is only a 78, which means nothing
Brooks
to you,
takes
right?
The high spot.
Yeah, John Brooks is an 80.
It doesn't mean a lot. I mean, I'm aware of what's going on vaguely, but yeah, I've just never been a real FIFA fan. I don't know what it is. If some of it goes back to the very early days of it, like when they first created it in 95 or whatever, 93. I remember playing one of the very first versions, and it kind of pissed me off because it just felt like I didn't like the controls, and I still have issues with it. I feel like to me it was sort of like field goal kicking in NFL game. It's why I really never liked Madden. Because it felt like there were things that were like needlessly hard about it, like penalty kicks. You know, when you take a penalty, both directing your shot and trying to save it, it was sort of like playing goalie in hockey games. Although hockey games were like that was my wheelhouse. I liked hockey games, and I liked when EA used to make a rugby game back in the 90s. That was actually pretty fun. Otherwise, I was never a huge fan of Madden, and I never really liked FIFA either.
I met a guy from England recently who likes the Blackhawks because Roenick was so good on the
NHL 93.
93, yeah, right in there. So make his head bleed.
Yeah, 93. He was awesome. I mean, he was second only to Gretzky, but it was like Ronnie Lott or something in Tecmo Bowl, where it was like he wasn't quite Bo Jackson, but he was like amazing on his own.
Yeah, so Brooks was an 80. Fabian was a 79. Pulisic's going to be a 78. That's up from, he finished last FIFA at 76. But yeah, he'll probably get, a few special cards along the way that makes him valuable for Football Ultimate Team. But I think overall he needs to be higher than that. And I think hopefully they give him a boost in January or whatever, because I think anytime you're going to be on 60 minutes, you need to be higher than that. I think that's fair to say.
That seems to be the standard. I mean, really, who's been on 60 minutes? Ronaldo, Messi, and
Freddie Adu was.
Freddie
just to make you fully aware of that.
For the record, all the people who say that we're hyping Pulisic too much, that was a joke.
Pretty positive they did a piece on Freddie Adu.
Not. I think they did as well. I think you're right. I think I remember that now. Yeah, we are not actually suggesting that he is as good as Ronaldo or Messi, or that he ever will be. It's just a joke when we say those things.
Jim wanted to know.
We actually keep a pretty even perspective on him. We just recognize that he's good at, and part of what will make him great is that he has to take the hype of, oh my God, he's going to be Messi.
He's good, and it's fun.
Like that.
He's not the best player in the world yet, but he's better than anyone we've ever had at this point, and it's fun, and we're not going to apologize for the fact that we enjoy it. Jim wanted to know what Timmy Chandler was. I think I read he's a 76. I am hoping
depends on whether he cares or not.
Yeah, exactly. For the national team, he's a 34, but for in the Bundesliga, he's a 76. I'm gonna play this, and I'm hopefully gonna put a video out where I'm telling you what everybody's ratings are and if they look any better, because some of the guys, Tim Howard looked really good in the last game, and Christian Pulisic looked like a 35-year-old insurance salesman, or Pete Sampras. It didn't look anything like Christian Pulisic.
Pete Sampras looked like a 35-year-old insurance salesman.
He did. I know, it's the same thing. It's
at the height of his powers.
Right. Yes. And I don't know what Pete Sampras looks like now, but I'm talking about like Pulisic
looks exactly the same. The guy looked like he was 40 when he was like 25.
Pulisic looked like a college basketball coach who might be slightly, not like Patino level corrupt, but slightly corrupt. So yeah, hopefully he looks like himself in the game. That would be nice. And I know Giassi Zardes somehow weaseled his way into being part of the journey. So that still makes me laugh that there's all these world-class players in there and Giassi Zardes. Well,
that makes you world-class, doesn't it? I mean, you're being recognized on a world level. That would necessarily mean world-class, right? Again, joke, guys.
All right. So yeah, that comes out. If I have time, I'll play it tomorrow, but who knows? Let's see.
Timothy Fuller, the game is not depressing if you're on my end.
K-Block DM'd us a question on Twitter. K-Block wants to know, how will the venue change for the Trinidad and Tobago match affect us? I think it's probably, since there are going to be fewer fans there, probably a benefit, but maybe the field really sucks or something that we don't know about.
Short of something like that, I don't see that's going to have any real effect. I mean, these guys know what it's like to play in front of fans who don't like them or whatever. I don't know that we'll see like big U.S. contingent there because one, it is TnT. Two, when you had to buy these, we weren't doing particularly well. So either you got people who are like, "Oh, I'm going to see us win it all," or you got a lot of people who are like, "Yeah, I'm not spending my money on that." And I suspect it probably weighs more is weighted more to that end. The other side of it is TnT effectively is already out. They should be out by that game.
Yeah, they've already announced they're bringing like a youthful roster.
Yeah.
So
they're already talking about planning for 2022.
Yeah. So, they're obviously going to have some guys that want to impress, which doesn't help. But as far as the venue goes, unless the field is absolute garbage and somehow that, both teams have to play on it if that's the situation. But it should be, if there's any change, it should be beneficial to the U.S. But again, I don't know how this affects the hotel situation too. Maybe they're going to have to bus the guys in. Maybe they're staying in Port of Spain and they're going to have to bus them down, or I don't know. I haven't heard any of those details yet. So
it's actually not very far. I looked it up.
It's about 2-hour drive or something like that down
if it's that far, I would be shocked. If it's 2 hours,
driving on islands,
I don't know how it could be.
A long time though. Like the roads are usually small.
But realistically, they're both on the coast, and they're both on the same coast, and it's only like 5 or 10 miles south of Port of Spain. So it looks like by the road that it's a straight. You can't say straight shot because it's along the coast, but like you're just driving straight down the coast. Yeah. So I don't know for sure, but it would seem to me that it can't be that far. I didn't look to see, maybe the only safe way to go or something. If it's one of those like, you can take that road, but it might be broken down. You might fall into the ocean. Do they have to drive into the inlands back out or something? But by the way the terrain is on the island, I assume everything is right along the coast, and it's just a little bit south.
We should probably, before we do the rosters, we should probably discuss the Sun and their wonderful journalism report that Christian Pulisic is being eyed by not only Real Madrid, but now Arsenal wants in on that. They're going to bid $1 higher. Just for the record, we've talked about this many times, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's anywhere else. We both don't want to see Pulisic go anywhere yet. He's in a very good spot. He's at a good club, a big club where he's playing well, and he's actually playing, and it's not time for him to go. If Real wants him down the road, that's great, but I don't want him to have to fluff CR7's ego or anything like that. I want him to be his own
Bales,
person.
The discussion that you and I have had over the last couple of days about this is that my point is that they've got to be looking at a replacement for Ronaldo before too much longer. They're going to be spending Neymar kinds of money to make this happen, I assume. I don't know who that person is yet. If they're going to try and buy Mbappe from PSG or something, who knows? They're going to have to do something insane, I assume. Knowing how Real operates, they're going to do something crazy here. To see him get just kind of crushed into that support role. I like that being at Dortmund gets him into the Champions League, and while it may not keep him in the Champions League this year, on the whole, they are consistently good. He consistently plays at the top of the Bundesliga, and it's with a good team that has very good players. In many cases, their best players turn into Bayern Munich's best players. So you're already playing with guys who in the future will be challenging for a Champions League title. So, he's already got good talent around him. He's got guys who are going to challenge him already. That I don't know that moving to Real Madrid for me is what guys do when they have nowhere else to go.
That's the last club standing. It's
in a sense that, and kind of. In a sense, you could say Barcelona's the same thing. Maybe you could even say the same about Bayern Munich or Manchester United. But to me, the way Real Madrid spends money, they are kind of the place where it's where the hell else are you going to go? You're just so good that everybody has to spend so much damn money to get you. Nobody else can really compete. PSG maybe in 5 or 10 years will look at them the same way or say that they've surpassed Real. But for the most part, it's not a place for growth anymore. It's a place where you go to kind of coast out from your prime to your, I don't know, just past your prime or to maybe your early 30s or something 28 to 32.
You don't really when you grow. You go there to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
That's where you go when you're at the top of the world. So
no, I don't want him there.
And we both don't want him at Arsenal either. And even though it would be awesome and we both would go probably buy his jersey, that could ruin him.
The only thing I can say about Arsenal is at least maybe they could use him.
True.
Because he the kind of position he plays, they could probably use moving forward. They're going to have some openings in kind of offensive attacking wings who are willing to cut into the middle spots in the next year. Having said that, like you said, that could destroy him, because we all know Arsene Wenger's going nowhere, and I don't want anyone going particularly to play for Arsene Wenger, because I just think he's washed up and should be done.
Diego wants to know if we follow MX. I don't, more than I watched it last night because they had the thing where it was on all the channels. It's really good. Like, I really enjoy watching it.
Pretty entertaining.
When I do watch it, so I need to watch it more.
I do.
Don't follow it as much as we
I'm
should.
thinking maybe I'll go back to Mexico again this year, sometime in the next 6 months or something like that, and maybe I'll try to get a game while I'm there.
I had the Fire on one channel.
I would have done it when I was in God, where did I go? Playa del Carmen, back in January, whenever the hell it was that I went. But I can't think. Atlanta, is that who it is that plays in Cancun? But they were away the entire time I was there, because otherwise I was going to try and go to Cancun and go to a game.
Yeah, I had the Fire on one channel. The Fire played well last night, but I had and I was flipping between them and Pachuca. Pachuca played Cruz Azul, right? I was flipping, and the quality, the speed, and the quality of play and the atmosphere were drastically better on the Mexican game. So I should get into it more than I am. People want to know if we're, as Arsenal fans, we're relishing
how we feel about Bayern.
I don't really care. I kind of like Bayern. I've always kind of liked
honestly,
Bayern.
It's not like I dislike Bayern. I mean, I until really Pulisic and seeing the yellow wall, I didn't necessarily have a German team. I could just kind of sit back and enjoy it. So I didn't feel one way or the other about a German team. I don't want to see Bayern win now because I've become a Dortmund fan, but
yeah, me too. But I
otherwise, but I haven't set myself to, this is now my team for good. I mean, I don't think I could switch to another team. Although Cologne, damn, those fans were awesome. Now I mean, I kind of look at it for experience as well. And the Cologne fans in London were amazing. But anyway, this is all off topic. What do I think about Bayern? Honestly, as an Arsenal fan, I'm afraid they're going to get bombed out of Champions League, come down and probably kick the shit out of us.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
It's going to be in the round of 16 again. Think about it.
God, that would be hilarious. Does anybody have a Bears-Packers score, by the way?
It was 14-0 when the game's on behind
I assume Packers, right?
Here, but yes.
Yeah,
but I can't tell. Oh, there's a giant rainstorm apparently. Maybe it must be a thunderstorm. They took the teams off the field. I turned off the sound when we went to, and my iPad's right in front of where the score would be, so I can't tell.
Bayern was probably my second favorite club team in the world, European club team, I guess, if we're not counting the Chicago Fire, outside of Arsenal, up until I recently started getting into Dortmund, mainly because of Pulisic, and like you said, Chris, because of seeing the yellow wall and seeing the atmosphere there. It makes me want to go there. But I realized this week that even though I'm a bit of a Dortmund fan, I'm not to the level of what I am as an Arsenal fan, because after they lost their Champions League game, I didn't feel angry and mad at the world and dejected like I do when Arsenal screws up. So I don't have that level of hatred yet, which is nice. It's kind of refreshing. I can enjoy their wins without wanting to punch things when they lose. So it's actually healthier that way, I think. And yeah, Arsenal is kind of rolling right now. So
I think some of that is based on who you like, picking a team by logic, as opposed to like, I picked Arsenal as a kid, like I can't say that 10, 11, 12, however old I was at the time, I can't say that that I had enough wherewithal or whatever to use like logic to determine that, oh, this is why I like the team, So there's more emotion to it, perhaps. Like I feel the same way about Pachuca. Like I've chosen Aliya Meki's team, but
because there were dogs and cats on the field.
Dogs and cats on the field, and Omar playing defense. So they're an American on the team, and Yes, the dogs and cats on the field. That was pretty awesome.
Should we do the roster?
Yeah, we're way off topic at this point. We might as
All
well.
right, why don't you have our roster, so you go ahead.
All right.
Fire away.
All right. So, as you know, Jordan Morris, of course, out with the injury that it's unclear how long he may be gone. You know, they're talking about weeks. We're already a few weeks into it. He could be back maybe by November, but certainly not going to be back for this. I'll give this little caveat away, or a little hint here. I've got Cameron in the list, even though he has missed the last 3 games for Stoke. Bruce seems to suggest that it sounds like Cameron will play this weekend, and I think right now, as long as Cameron's available, Cameron's playing. Like, we're not taking any chances. I mean, Bruce has all but said this isn't the time to make changes to the lineup.
Right.
Danny Williams is hurt, like we talked about Tuesday, but frankly, I don't think that ever mattered anyway. So in goal, I've got Tim Howard, Brad Guzan, and I've got Nick Raimondo as number 3. Personally, I don't agree with Raimondo in as number 3. Lots of you guys probably want to debate Guzan in even, but whatever.
But this is what we think Bruce is going to do, not what we think. We always point
exactly. I mean, when I looked at it, these are the same 3 he called up in March. He called them up in June as well, with the addition of Horvath, and he called them up in September too. So over the last 6 months, these 3 have been clearly the guys that he's selected 1, 2, 3. I don't expect any changes there.
And he may go 4 because he hasn't been doing 23s lately. He's been doing like 26. So we're doing 23.
I did go 23 here. I thought about going 25 or 26 for that reason. In which case, maybe some of the cuts I've made will come back, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Defense starting on the left, Jorge Villafana. I've still got Beasley in there. Cameron, Beasler, Omar, and Tim Ream in the center. DeAndre on the right, of course, and then Graham Zusi. Now, that means I'm cutting Lehigh. To me, he's the one guy he's the only guy from the last call-up who didn't get a shot in either of the previous 2 games. He got nothing. To me, that says Bruce just isn't going to give it to him. So I think that's done. Hedges is out of here too, although I'll say that could change. He might get a call into camp. I could see maybe Bruce calls in 25 or 26. I think Hedges may get the chance just because if Cameron is hurt, he's going to want another guy in there. But I think after Hedges' performances lately, I don't see him making the field. In the midfield, Darlington Nagbe and Fabian Johnson on the left. Darlington could go left or right, I guess, but I'll give it to him on the left here. Michael Bradley, Dax McCarty, Kellen Acosta, and Alejandro Bedoya, Christian Pulisic, and Paul Areola. This kind of gives you a mix of wings. It kind of gives you some guys who can play in the middle. The one thing we don't really have here is another guy who can sort of play in that central position. That's really why Christian Roldan was here a month ago. But with defenders already in question, with like Brooks out, Cameron, the possibility that Cameron doesn't play, I see maybe Bruce loading up on defenders. I see him cutting out of the midfield to do it. So I don't see that Roldan gets another call up here. Maybe in a month if things go well. Forwards, Josie, Bobby Wood, Clint Dempsey, and yours and mine.
Oh God, don't.
The wonder that is Chris Wondolowski.
You're probably right.
I'm not saying it should happen, but Dwyer didn't get called up a month ago. Agudelo didn't get called up a month ago. So the guys that I think it could be, I don't see happening. I think he goes. Bruce says, I mean, if you look at the interviews Bruce has had lately, everything he said is we're going with tried and true here. He's going with safe bets. And even if the ceiling is low, looking at you, Wando, and at this point, really Beasley too, over potential.
Ivan brings up a good point. Does Dom get the call since it's in Orlando?
I could see it, and I think some people are predicting that. If Dom had, I don't know, a better move, like if he'd really lit things up since moving to Orlando, I would believe it. But to me, he hasn't torn the league up since moving there. He hasn't looked like maybe the guy that we wanted him to be following the Gold Cup so that he would get more chances. So I just don't see it happening. But hey, possibly.
All right, let's
Also,
hope.
I really, really want. Did I sing that song or did I just tell you about it? That I really want the Dom Dwyer and Sidney LaRue, Yaya Kolo Toure
You told me
song.
you were texting me all sorts of versions of that song, and I don't think you actually sang it to me. But if you'd like to sing it now, feel free. Now's the
I
time.
won't right now, but
Okay.
yeah, I want to do Sidney LaRue into Dom 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 Dom. I guess I ended up kind of singing it, but whatever.
It's it's this roster kind of makes me sad in some ways. But it is what it is. Like we knew what it's going to be. It's not now is not the time to bring in. I guess you could argue now is not the time to bring in young talent or anybody new or anything like that because we have to get these done. But it's also not like these guys got it done last time out.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean that is the big fault to the story here is on the one hand, Bruce is saying, we don't have time to try new guys out. On the other, yeah, but we don't have time to like fail with the current crop either. A lot of people have wondered could Miazga get a call up because he has played well, and Bruce has said every guy who's been in camp with us for the last year or whatever, we've been looking at. Eye on them, we're checking with them every week. I take that to mean these guys still could find a way somewhere into a roster. I just don't see it happening right now. And Bruce all but said that just the other day.
Alex wants to know. He says if we do actually qualify, he wants to see Weston McKennie get a chance in November, assuming we have games in November, which we probably will.
Well, I mean, we'd
yes.
end up with a friendly, I'm sure. We're not going to skip that FIFA
the Puerto Rico
there.
idea. Who floated that last time around? That was a good idea where we play.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember, but that was a really good idea.
Yeah, a pair of friendlies against Puerto Rico and then donate the money.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
And I mean, come on, that honestly, maybe we should push that idea to USSF.
It's
sorry to steal someone else's idea, but I think it's a genuinely excellent idea, and like it's good PR, and it would be good visibility for the team, and it also gives you a chance to run some guys out who haven't gotten a lot of opportunities and don't, I think, have a lot of chances for opportunities between now and June.
The one weird thing is we can't schedule anybody yet because
exactly.
we don't know if we will
until Tuesday the 10th or whatever it is. I mean, really, until Wednesday morning, we won't know.
I mean, we might have a decent idea after the 6th, but
yeah, certainly if we win there, we're pretty well locked in. I mean, that's the big decider, but this is. I mean, for all intents and purposes, we are playing for our World Cup life right here. It is down to these two games.
Sandra wants to know why.
Frankly, if we can't win these two, I don't believe we're going to win in November.
Sandra wants to know why no Weston McKennie now. Probably because he's too similar of a player to Kellen Acosta, and Kellen Acosta has more experience with the national team and has actually been okay. So it's probably why we won't see Bruce do it. I'm trying to think if I would actually do it at this point. As excited as I am about him, I don't know if I would call him up for these two games. As soon as these two games are over and we've qualified, fingers crossed, then yes, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. I would love to see him make the actual World Cup roster. So
I would like to see him get an opportunity. He hasn't looked fantastic in his first two games. He played decently, but there were still a lot of kind of young mistakes. I think it is promising that they signed him to a 5-year contract. That was good news for him. I think that is the club showing some faith, and the club, I think, taking the shot that realistically there's a chance he could play for that he may get enough attention that other people want to come buy him. So they are making a bit of an investment there so that they can recoup more. So I think they're looking at it as this kid has a future too, which is promising. And, you know, that's part of the reason I'd like to see him at least get a call up. But he was still making a lot of kind of youthful mistakes, you know, leaving his man on a goal last weekend. I think that was last weekend, or was that the first game he played? They kind of blend together on me now. But, you know, there were times he was charging too far forward and leaving space, or dropping too far back and leaving space. And it was hurting the team. And like I said the other day, there were points where it felt to me like the players weren't necessarily, like his teammates weren't necessarily passing to him. Like they were kind of passing around him. There were times where he was open and in an area where it could have helped move the ball into a better position. Like you could have made you had triangles there. Like you could have played it back to him, and he had the open man then another 10 yards or whatever from him. But they were instead, you know, taking an extra touch or playing it somewhere else instead of playing it to him. That to me kind of speaks to his youth as well, that, you know, they're not, the other players aren't necessarily fully trusting him. So I'd like to see him win that. And then, yeah, I think then you're talking about a guy who probably deserves a real shot with the national team. Until then, I want to see him get some opportunities. I want to see him, you know, there, kind of like I wanted to see like Josh Sargent in the Gold Cup, just because let him get to know the team, like see what he can do. You know, maybe he sucks playing against all these all the other players at this level, but maybe he shows something that you know, promises more for the future.
People are asking about CCV this time around. I don't see it happening, but I'd like it to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah. I've heard more people ask about Miazga, at least for these games.
Yeah,
I think
that's more reasonable.
I could see both of them maybe getting a call up in November if we have that opening.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're playing Syria or Australia, and somebody was asking, is Syria still on the table? Yes, it is going to be a playoff between Syria and Australia, and I don't remember when their playoff is. Is it?
It's
next
the
weekend?
Same days as we play. I believe it's right in there.
So it will determine where we go, or where the fourth place finisher goes. If you know we're truly if we're that fourth place finisher, I still think we're going to see probably the same 23-ish, you know, depending on injuries, whatever, guys playing in November. But you know, if we've qualified and we're open and it's just a break for us, I could see, you know, Carter Vickers, Miazga, maybe McKinney, you know, maybe even guys like Emerson Hyndman getting a shot.
And we should point out, if we do fall to that position.
Oh, and like Gooch. I mean, somebody was asking earlier too about, like, you know, Gooch has been playing well. Is he going to get a shot? Not right now, but yeah, if November's open, why not get him in there?
You mean Iguchi and Onyewu, right?
yes, of course.
We should point out that the good news is, if we do drop to that position, we go first. The first game is here. The second game is in Australia or Malaysia, right? Is that Syria's playing in Malaysia?
Yeah.
So
Kuala Lumpur.
They have to come on a very long flight to here, then go back. We only have to go one direction. So
yeah,
if you believe in travel causing issues, that would benefit us. Plus, we would know what we have to do.
Should anyway.
Yeah. People are asking who's at the top of the USFanTV Fantasy Premier League. Not us. Is it Preston? Is it Simon?
It was. I haven't checked it since.
He says this guy. I forgot to set my roster for about 3 weeks in a row. So I am in the bottom third, I believe. But I actually set it this past weekend. So hopefully I'm remembering now.
I'm in fifth place in our league.
You are? Wow.
And I am. I'm 20 points off first, so
there's going to be a computer glitch or something, though, right?
Never know.
Somebody wrote to make fun of you. Apparently, you're going to have Mexican refs.
I gained all this. What did you say?
Did you see this? Somebody, a Mexican fan, wrote us making fun of you, saying I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently we're going to have Mexican refs for the Panama game, which is possible. And he's like, he can't wait to see the Chris meltdown. I'm like, that's pretty funny, actually.
Not saying I won't.
Only if we lose.
Only possible. Look, I complain about injustice. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm a soccer justice warrior.
It is true. Ivan says it's true. We are. It's confirmed, Dominic says. So yeah, there you go. We're going to have Mexican refs for that game. Have fun with that.
Yeah, I gained on all you guys at the top in the league, and that was even playing what's his name? Sideshow Bob from Chelsea, David Luiz. Sideshow Luiz come out with his red card or suspension.
Yeah.
I am, however, leading Jack's league.
Are you really?
So, Jack, when you watch this, yep, I'm in first place.
Wow.
Again, I had a big week. Like the last 2 weeks, I did really well.
There's going to be a change in scoring or something that comes. Something will come and happen. All right. This is USFanTV. We have a website. It's USFanTV.com. We have Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. They are all USFanTV. You know where to find us on Craigslist, and we don't have Snapchat. I did those out of order. I screwed it all up. Subscribe to YouTube. You know that we have YouTube. You've seen that we have YouTube because you're currently watching this, right? Subscribe if you haven't. We've picked up tons of new subscribers, and we love you all very, very much. You make us very happy, and tell all your friends to do the same. And then go create a bunch of accounts and subscribe to us with those accounts too, with those bot accounts. Do it, please.
And then watch us in 40 windows on your computer.
And this is...
Do they check by URL or do they?
I don't know.
I mean IP, not a URL.
This is the most important thing. We have shirts. We have USFanTV shirts. You can buy one. You can own one by going to our Twitter or our Facebook. There's a link that's pinned to the top. It's a bonfire shirt pre-order, so you can pick out whatever color you want. I did it in 4 colors, and then you can order one. And then a small percentage of that will go to help the show that you love so very, very much. Chris, do you have any final words?
Yeah, actually, I do have one thing. If you are also looking for things to watch next Friday,
somebody
was noting they wanted to see someone play for the U.S., and I was going to say, well, you can next week, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody from the 17s.
Sargent, maybe.
I don't think so, but now I can't remember what behind the comments. I didn't write it down. We play India, the hosts of the U17 World Cup, next Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll play Ghana, our giant nemesis, at 7:30 Eastern, Monday the 9th, and then Thursday the 12th we'll play Colombia again at 10:30 Eastern.
Those are good times.
All AM. All AM, I should have said that. So you can, in a sense, have a bit of a doubleheader. U.S. games come next Friday.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It'll be exciting to see what they can do, and hopefully
both wins.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to choose, I'm going to take the one over the other, but hopefully the young guys get the win too. Hunter's mad because he has school. You know what? Skip, Hunter. School doesn't mean anything. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Do well. Do your best. Be a good student. Is it all on FS2? I hope not, because I still don't get FS2.
I don't. I didn't write it down. I know it's all on FS2, but I don't know. Maybe at that time in the morning it could be FS1. I don't know.
They probably had some screaming head show to put on, but we'll see. What else? Anything else? Yeah, buy the shirts.
That is here. All I've got.
Yeah, we'll be here next Tuesday. As usual, we do these shows Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time in the United States of America. Yeah, so there it is. Go buy a shirt.
Yeah, Bruce announces the roster on Sunday. We'll see how we did, and then talk about what to expect on Tuesday. Give our Thursday prediction. I don't know. Are we going to do Thursday since we'll be doing Friday? But whatever.
We'll see. It's
we'll
next
figure
week.
that out next week.
We don't have to figure that out yet. So. All right. You guys are...
It's at least 7 days away.
You are done.